In this video, I'll talk about what would make me leave Singapore. My name is George, and I'm a Filipino-American media professional who has been based in Singapore for the past 10 years. Every week, I publish this video series called Saturday Uncut, where I get to practice my ad-libbing and challenge myself to improve my confidence on camera. I've been doing this for 32 weeks already. Before I begin, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also hit like if you like this video, give me your feedback as well, and you can consider following me on social media. The links are in the video description. Alright, so what would make me leave Singapore? So yeah, I've been reflecting. I've been here for 10 years already, 10 amazing years, and not a single bit of regret since I came here. I moved here in 2012 to pursue a dream to continue my career in broadcasting or as a producer, and I've enjoyed it since. In the past 10 years, I learned so many things from I ended up working for a terrestrial media network, the top network here in the country. I've also worked for a cable channel as well, and I got to work for a tech company doing some content marketing. And basically the past 10 years has been, without regret. I have no regrets moving here at all. But it's been 10 years, and I'm starting to ask these questions like, what else could be out there? What would get me to leave? Thinking about it, the first, I've narrowed it down to three possible reasons what I would do if I were to leave Singapore. The first is an opportunity to earn more money. Singapore is a very expensive place to live in, and every year, of course your lifestyle, you want to improve it as well, right? You have ambitions to live in a nice place, rent a nice apartment, buy things, and I feel like that's just me. I'm not the kind of person who's going to be super thrifty and eat food that, like your mixed veg rice. In Tagalog, kailangan kumita pa ng pera. That's what I would say. Singapore is a very competitive place, so salaries here are competitive, depends on which company you're working for. Tech companies, yeah, I don't want to go too much into my salary, but if there's an opportunity to earn more, I'll definitely consider that as a factor on as to why I would consider leaving Singapore, if there's more opportunities to earn in other places. Alright, the second reason would be to be in a country where there's a clearer pathway to settle down. So I've been here for 10 years, and sure, I've only had one permanent residency application since. I applied for permanent residency here in 2016. It was rejected. Not surprised, or a bit surprised, I don't know. I know friends here who've lived here far longer than I have, and they've applied for permanent residency so many times and had it rejected. And so that's just basically the mood when you're in Singapore. People, I don't know anyone who got their permanent residency approved. Not in my circles within the Filipino community. I know that before 2010, if you're a Filipino person who was here like maybe 2007, 2005, 15, 16, 17 years ago, they used to perhaps offer PR much more, maybe there's a system where it's easier to get approval, but since I moved here in 2012, it hasn't been the case. Yeah, so I have friends, Filipino friends, who have had families. Sorry, my screen switched off. I have Filipino friends who, they moved to New Zealand, they moved to Australia, they moved to other countries away from Singapore. I guess, yeah, it works for them. So if there's a clearer path for me to settle down, I know I'm gonna try again for PR soon, but I'm not gonna keep my hopes up too much. However, I did have, just to tell you a quick story, I did have a taxi driver before the pandemic, and we had a conversation about, it just went up to my PR status or non-status, and then he said to me, he's a Singaporean taxi driver, he just said, why don't you just keep applying, there's nothing to lose, and just keep applying. If you really want it, just keep going for it. I think that's the wisdom. If you want to try, just try again to get your PR here. But yeah, what would make me consider moving or leaving Singapore is if I could be in a country where it's much more easier to settle down. I'm a Filipino American, so I already have two countries that I could just simply quite simply settle down in. I could settle back home in the Philippines where it's beautiful, among other things, or I could also go to the United States. However, I don't have too many roots in the United States other than maybe some of my relatives. But yeah, I already have those two available, but will that make me happy? The third reason which I would consider leaving what would make me leave Singapore is a place that would be more, that would embrace who I am entirely. So I'm gay and I have a partner, and although being here in Singapore for the past 10 years, you know, there is a presence of LGBTQIA people here in Singapore, but, you know, and I've seen, you know, I've participated during the time that I could participate. I did participate in Pink Dot in the years before, you know, non-Singaporeans and non-PRs were banned from participating. I did support, I've volunteered for Action for AIDS here in Singapore, you know, but overall the sense is that even if, let's say I do get my PR here one day, I won't be able to get married here, or it won't be recognized here. So that's another thing. What would make me leave Singapore is if I could find a place that embraces me entirely. And on this planet, there are not too many places that that's possible. It's possible in the United States, going back to what I mentioned in number 2. If I could settle down there, I don't know. But yeah, that would probably be a factor where I would like to take my zest, my love of life and culture. There's so much I wish I could contribute here in Singapore. I would volunteer at the National Gallery. I would love to curate walking tours around Juchat, or, you know, historic neighborhoods here in this country, but it is what it is, right? Yeah. So being gay, that's a central part of me, my character, my person, me, just me. And a factor which would make me leave Singapore is if I could find a place that embraces me for who I am entirely, you know? That said, that doesn't mean I'm going to give up on, you know, raising my voice or advocating for LGBTQ rights anywhere in the world, whether that is in the Philippines, the United States, or here in Singapore. I support my LGBTQ brothers and sisters here. There's no doubt in that, and if I could help them with their story, then I'll be happy with that. But yes, I would probably, I'm going to be in my 40s in a few years, and I need to start thinking about where I want to be. I like to end these videos with something called Remember This, and my belief is that, okay, remember this. I believe you should grow where you are planted. Yeah, you should grow where you are planted. So wherever you are on this planet, whether you are in a struggling situation in a particular city or a country, but that's kind of weird. Hold on, I just completely self-doubted myself right there. Because you see, how can you grow when you're planted if you're in a country that is like oppressed and... Zoom into my face. Okay, maybe I'm taking it too literally. Or not literally. What I mean is, whatever situation you are in life, you try to make the most of it. You fight if you need to fight the good fight. And yeah, that's how I could probably say it. And also one more thing. You need to utilize your unfair advantage. And that's something I'm just beginning to learn after watching a couple of YouTube videos. We all have unfair advantages in life, and it's our point to sort of like get the clutter out of the way and focus on whatever that unfair advantage is, just to grasp it and make the most of it, and that will help you find your path to success. I haven't read the book yet, but I am going to share more once I learn more about that. Alright, we've reached the end of my weekly video. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel or following me on social media. I've shared the links in the video description. My name is George, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. See you again next week. Alright, bye.